Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we're going to play with our Multiverse character. I wasn't sure exactly what to do today, so we'll just start playing with our Multiverse. We'll probably start playing the Valentine seasonal a bit, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see where it goes from there. Odds are you guys will probably have a few questions. Also today, sadly, I'm streaming later than usual. That couldn't be helped, sadly. I probably could have started the stream a bit earlier, but when I came back, I realized that I hadn't eaten all day. So I took the time to have a nice supper before I actually started the stream. So here we are. So we should be ready to get started in just a second. So there we go. Oh yeah. Hello Dominic. Hello CJ Reviews. Costas. Hello. Hello Kylum. And hey again Dominic. Hello Neptune. As you can see, I'm playing around a bit with the look of my character. I'm trying to find a new look, and I'm struggling a bit, but we'll get there at some point. I got a new Zamoran Love Crystal. I'll probably make a video about that tomorrow. Basically, I'm sure some of you are wondering what you get from those crystals, and basically you get random stuff. So far, I got random crap, so maybe hopefully I'll get something good at some point. Some good missions for CR 144. Oh, hello, Reaper. For CR 144, let's check. There's a bunch of Tier 6 missions that you can play. Basically, pretty much any, maybe not final exams. Final exams, you don't want to play that mission unless you actually have a group. If you have a full group, then fine. But don't play that group with random people. You're going to curse at them, or they'll curse at you. Yeah, I do have a Twitch account. I should probably do a video once in a while on Twitch. Yeah, it does look a bit like Orion. For a Batman emblem, let me check. So there's the Demon's Plan, the Secret Cathedral is a bit challenging. It's challenging if there's people who are like combat rating 113 who actually enter the mission. When that happens, it does make the mission a bit difficult. Ironically enough, Phantom Zone, even if you're in your early 140, like if you're 146, you can still do fairly well. The same with Demon's Plan. If you go in Demon's Plan at 134, you should still be able to do well. But the Cathedral one is the thing is at 113. That's way too low to be in this mission really. But sadly, there's quite a few people who will go into that mission early on. So you can try the Secret Cathedral, but Demon's Plan and Phantom Zone, these should be good enough. Or there's also 8 players mission. I always have a hard time suggesting 8-player missions because with 8 players, anything can go wrong, and it can go wrong very easily. So, for the Batman emblem, let's take a quick look. The Gang War episode, I forget. The Gang War, is that the one? That's the one with Riddler and Joker, if I'm not mistaken. It's a fine episode. You can do it fairly easily enough. Obviously, you don't want to do the elite version of the Zoo mission. The Zoo mission, if you play the elite version, you have to have a group, a strong group. If you're going there just with a random group, you probably won't even pass the first boss. Well, the Wonder Woman emblem does work a bit. Let's go check. No, I'm in Canada. For the Wonder Woman emblem, I wouldn't use the Wonder Woman emblem itself unless, let's try it. Maybe if we put it all black. So let's try the Wonder Woman emblem all black and see what happens. I don't think it's going to really create a nice Batman emblem. Not really. You can still see the WW quite a lot. What I would suggest instead is possibly to try with the. It's sort of a Wonder Woman emblem. Is that the one? Nope. Alright, there we go. There is this emblem, which is sort of a Wonder Woman emblem, but it's a Wonder Woman emblem matched mixed with Batman. So that one works a bit better if you want to have a Wonder Woman emblem. Hello, Wolf. So this Wonder Woman emblem kind of works if you want to have a Batman emblem. The one I would strongly suggest is the what's it called, the Drowned. If you go for that one, you can create a pretty good version of the Batman emblem. So if you want to have the Batman emblem with like the moon behind it, right now this is about as close as we can have within the DC Universe Online. Other than that, go with the Batman Rebirth emblem. Viper King. I assume it's the correct spelling. Oh, we got some mail. So let's go to the watchtower and we'll start from there. Yeah, ideally, if they could add the classic Batman emblem, I would be one of those people who would like that, and I would be there to purchase it. Basically, I wish they would add the Batman emblem with the yellow oval, but what can you do? And there's a bit of lag in the menu today. Oh, that's a multiverse character. I'm trying to come up with a new look, and I'm failing miserably. Basically, right now I have a Captain Marvel look, which looks pretty sweet. I really like this look. I have an Ultraman look with Kryptonian powers. And I have a Captain Cold inspired look, which I only use when I want to use dual pistols. Well, the nice aura for the quantum characters is the I forget the actual name. Let's go to the broker just a minute. They did add a nice quantum aura, or at least something that works real well with quantum. Sorry, I keep on getting a random tail. It's a bit funny now. I keep on receiving messages from people telling me about the channel while I play the game, which is kind of fun. For the auras, the best aura I can think of to use with a quantum character. I forget the actual name. And it may not be in the broker right now, sadly. No, I guess not. It's a pretty old aura that used to be in the booster bundle like a couple of years ago. And sadly, I still see it once in a while in the broker. It's usually a bit expensive though. I guess not this time. I guess right now the dark blue aura is about the better option. Dark blue or dark purple, depending on what you prefer. Yeah, maybe the Diamond Mist aura could work. Let's take a quick look at how much the Stalwart Defender chest is. Obviously, we're not going to buy it, but I'm always curious to see how much it is. Sometimes we could get a good deal. It happens once in a while. How do you get to 113? So right now the Stalwart is about 5.5 up to 7 millions, depending on how much you want to pay. How to get to 113? Once you manage to reach 100, then ideally try to reach 105. Once you reach 105, there's awesome mission called the Patrol Catastrophe. If you replay that mission over and over, you should be able to even increase your combat rating a bit more. So ideally, once you manage to reach 105, see if you can then replay the Patrol Catastrophe over and over. Well, once you reach 100, play the actually once you reach combat rating 99, then you can start playing the solo missions at tier 6. The solo there's the Wonder Woman mission and the Cersei mission. And once you do that, ideally you want to do all the tier 6 missions, obviously, to be able to go up in combat rating and get some better gear. But ideally, if you can at the very least play the well, let's go to the on duty. Like once you reach combat rating, come on, I'm not sure why there's so much lag today. Once you reach combat rating 99, you can start playing the Cersei's Trial or the Aegis of Truth, and from there. Even just playing those missions, you should be able to get some good gear that should help you raise your combat rating a bit. Obviously, you're going to want to play a whole bunch of tier 6 missions if you can. But of course, getting a group together.
Mr. Freeze and his goons are interfering with the Star Sapphires and risking the safety of Gotham City. Head there and assist the Star Sapphires in any way you can.
But often getting a group together is always a bit challenging sometimes. So if you're stuck playing solo, then replay the iconic missions as much as you can. And then it'll give you access to some missions in the at Gotham Battle Zone, or I forget the actual name. Well, yeah, obviously you need the episodes. Keep in mind, pretty much most of what I tell you, you have to be either a legendary player or to have purchased the episodes. And even more often than not, you have to be a legendary player, especially when I mention When I mentioned using the broker, obviously, in order to use the broker, you have to be a legendary player. For PvP combat rating, there's no miracle there. You have to play PvP and purchase PvP gear. It's as simple as that. So you have to play PvP, earn your PvP marks, and then you purchase your PvP gear. There's no other way to increase your PvP combat rating. From what I understand, the death of Superman will be like from April to June. So will it be like April 1st up to June 30th, or will it be April I don't know 29th up to June 1st? Actually, I don't know. The easiest way to get an aura if you're broke? There's no easy way. If either you buy the aura from the broker, or you buy the aura from the marketplace. These are pretty much the two ways, the two real ways where you can get the aura. Or you gather the collections that will allow you to get an aura. But again, if you're broke, I'm not sure how you're going to be able to do that. Hello, yeah, boy. Well, in the marketplace, the only blue aura I can suggest to use the dark blue aura. And I would suggest don't go for the slim aura, go for the regular dark blue aura. But from the marketplace, it's pretty much the better option. I'm sure I did make quite a few Captain Marvel videos in the past, or Shazam videos, but yeah, I could make basically I have a new one in the works. I did the Captain Marvel video not too long ago. I'll see about making the Shazam Captain Marvel before long. So ideally for the Valentine seasonal, when as you saw, we're pretty much just struggling to try to get some of the objectives we need. So the better option, usually I go almost to the end of Gotham, and it's usually a bit easier to get what we need. You cannot really get it from Prometheum log boxes. You have like one chance in a billion or something. I don't know what the odds are, but the odds of getting the Solar Defender chest from a Prometheum log box are really low. The reason for that is quite simple. There's like 800 styles and the Prometheum log boxes. And the thing is, I'm not sure if it's 800 styles total or 800 different styles. So depending on which is which. Either way, there's a lot of styles in the Prometheum log boxes, and the odds of getting the style that you're looking for are very slim. Yeah, the blue smoke aura could work, although I forget where you can actually get it. A Rage Tomahawk style? I could see what I can do. Yeah, technically I should be able to make an Ant-Man style. Although there are some styles that you would think that should be easy to make, but sometimes end up being more challenging.
Quickly, the Star Sapphires have come to reclaim their crystals.
Like someone asks for robot styles like eons ago, and I'm trying to come up with enough styles to be able to come up with some sort of robot styles. And right now I barely have any styles that kind of fit with that.
for this fight, but I will get more crystals and rebuild. I will bring Nora back.
So I guess we're done here. Let's give a little bow to everyone. You can see our friend Whitey with some of the Alexander Luthor gear. So sadly I purchased an item that was a bit expensive, so I'm down to 14 hearts. Not a big deal, but it'll take a while before I can purchase anything good. Most cool auras are from the time capsules or from the broker. So in the game itself, yeah, if you can use the broker, you can purchase some pretty cool auras, but most of those will come from time capsules or from booster bundles. Like there used to be booster bundles eons ago. Sadly, booster bundles, well, no, not sadly. Luckily, booster bundles pretty much have been replaced by time capsules. So if you didn't like booster bundles, you probably were happy that time capsules took over. If you were a fan of booster bundles, then sadly no booster bundle for you. Oh. I guess our friend is a free-to-play player. A lot of missions we can seem to be able to play. Well, let's go for Shadowlands first, and we'll see afterwards. And let's try Area 51. I wasn't able to play it. Oh, too late. We're on the US PS4 server or PS4 PC server. I would have to check on the broker. It's not that expensive, but it is obviously it is a bit pricey.
We must hurry. Brainiac's presence in Shadowlands is the nexus.
I'm good, the sold guy. If you get the wrong color of aura, yeah, you have to try and trade it to someone else, or you have to sell it on the broker and hope to be able to sell it for enough cash to be able to buy the one you want. For trading, I would suggest to be very, very careful. Only trade with people that you actually know. If you try to trade with strangers, it could happen that you're going to get scammed. It's sad, but it happens. So if you're going to trade, I would strongly suggest trade with people that you know. Otherwise, you run the risk of being scammed. And sadly, we see it on the forums all the time. People will make a thread complaining that they've been scammed. Yes, you can try and trade. And I guess if you're a premium player or a free-to-play player, you have no choice but to trade. But I would suggest be really careful about that. Yeah, I suppose a Doomsday-inspired character could do the trick. Although it doesn't require all that much to recreate Doomsday. Create like a gray, rocky character almost. Give it a few spikes and you'll have a pretty decent Doomsday, I suppose. Sorry about that. Some open world collections to farm. Farming collections around Ace Chemicals, always a good idea. These collections are always somewhat valuable. The reason for that is that they allow you to be able to get some amenities for your. No, I should have done greed. My bad. So usually the collections around Ace Chemicals allow you to get amenities, so they're still somewhat valuable. They're pretty much always somewhat valuable. Obviously, the value of the collections goes up and down depending on how big the demand is. There's also Arkham Island, but Arkham Island, the few times I tried the last few times I tried to farm collections there, it was a big waste of time, and I farmed and farmed and farmed, and was sometimes able to get only one collection in like 1 hour or something like that.
What is this?
So around Steelworks, around Ace Chemicals, or even on Striker Island, these are the places I would suggest to farm for collections if you need to.
Then we have no choice. We must put our differences aside.
Yeah, finding a good name is challenging.
For the greater good.
I prefer gadgets somehow. Munitions doesn't seem superhero as much. Munitions is more inspired pretty much by the action movies from the 80s as opposed to anything else. So it might be why it kind of doesn't seem to fit as well with the rest. Pretty much a lot of things in this universe online is inspired either by Golden Age or Silver Age comics, although lately it's more like a modern age. But Munitions is something that's straight out of the 80s. That's pretty much dated as something out of the 80s. The Justice Lord were just for the cartoon. I don't think they ever made an appearance in the comics, although I could be mistaken. Maybe someone at some point when they made something like maybe not Infinite Crisis. Oh yeah, maybe Infinite Crisis. Maybe when they made Infinite Crisis or JLA Avengers or something, they had maybe a panel showing the Justice Lord. I don't think so, but you never know. But as far as I know, Justice Lords, that was for the cartoon only. These characters were created specifically for the cartoon. And they were created for a specific storyline. Even in the cartoon, we only saw them once. They never came back again.
The realm of magic is safe from Brainiac. Now, on to other matters.
Yeah, I guess you can farm for the artifact catalysts. The problem with the artifact catalysts is that you cannot farm them indefinitely. You can only farm them a certain amount of times per week. Like basically you can farm each catalyst only once per week per character. As opposed to collections, you can farm for collections to infinity. If you want to spend 3 hours farming for collections, you can. If you want to spend 10 hours farming for collections, you can. As opposed to catalyst, once you have all the catalyst, you cannot farm anymore. You have to wait until the next week. And also, if you farm for catalyst, odds are you'll be waiting at least a bit for groups to form.
I know your name. I know your face, and I know your days are numbered.
So we're going to lose our friend Viper King. Well, we'll try to play some other missions. I'll probably try to farm a bit for Catalyst if I can. But odds are, as I mentioned, ideally for Catalyst you have no choice. You have to cure and hope the cure won't take too long. If the cure takes too long, then while you wait, I guess you could decide to farm for collections while you wait. Well, let's give a little bow to our friend. No, the Crisis. You mean Crisis on Two Earths? It was an awesome film. So let's leave the group and let's see if we can cure for a few missions. Uh, Legendary for a month, it's about 15 bucks. For 15 bucks, you can get about 15 stabilizers. Actually, you can get a bit more if you're lucky. Let me check. No, the artifacts is a good idea. The only problem with that is that it's a limited. You can do it only a limited amount of time. So I would say start by farming the artifacts. And anyways, while you farm for artifacts, odds are you're going to wait quite a long time for the mission to pop. So while you wait for the mission to pop, then gather collections. So there's no reason, as you farm Catalyst, not to also farm collections. And for this let's go to supplies. So basically for 15 bucks you could have legendary for a month, or you could have about 15 stabilizers. If you go for 17, a little more than 15, you could get maybe 20 stabilizers. But I would say get the legendary. With the legendary, you're going to be able to purchase. You're going to be able to use a broker, so you should be able to purchase at least some of the stuff that you can get from time capsules on the broker. So that alone should make it worth it. So let's see. Let's try and play a few 4-player missions. I've been. So there's a few 4-player missions that should allow us to get some... I did this one already. No, I did this one. So sadly, as you can see, the drawback of farming for Catalyst, if you already did the mission before, where's the other? Oh, there's where it is. If you've already played the mission before, sadly, you can only do it once a week. So unless you have a lot of characters, you can't really farm for Catalyst all that much. Like, you can do them once a week, and that's about it. So while you wait for Catalyst, the thing you could do is you go to one area like Ace Chemicals. If you have only 200k, then yeah, then Legendary won't really help you in terms of buying stuff on the broker, but it will give you access to all the missions. Oh, that was somewhat quick. So usually when you have to wait, you can go around a bit and look for collections. If you're lucky, you'll get a few. It's a bit tricky if you don't know where the collections are, but at first you can start using some radar enhancers, and that should help you figure out where the collections actually spawn. And then after a while, you'll know where the collections spawn. At 100, all you can really do is play. At 100, obviously, you can play the Tier 6 mission here, Cersei's Trial and Aegis of Truth. Then you can play Supply Lines, Port of Paradise. And what else can you play? And you could play Themyscira Divided, and even Intergang Crime Wave, or Legal Security Breach. So there's quite a few missions you can play at 100. So ideally, you try to do that until you reach 105, and when you reach 105, this mission in Gotham Under Siege called the Patrol Catastrophe. Once you reach that mission, you can replay and replay and replay that mission over, and it will give you a piece of gear each time you play that mission. And it's a piece of gear that you can choose, and also you also get a weapon. So if you're lucky, you'll get a piece of gear, and eventually you'll get the weapon you use. So with the Patrol Catastrophe, you can easily farm for a complete set of gear fairly quickly. I'm not sure why people queue for a mission and they can't just accept the mission when the mission is ready. And that no idea why that happens. Ah, there we go. Yeah, Heroes membership is usually worth it.
Energy source destabilized. Self-destruction imminent. Energy source destabilized.
Episodes don't really give you anything. They just give you access to missions. So once you buy an episode, you gain access to the missions within that episode, and that's pretty much all the episode give you. I haven't heard that rumor about the artifacts, but yeah, it's obvious that sooner or later they will increase the artifacts. Right now, the right now, the maximum for the artifacts is 100, but you can be sure that they're going to increase that.
Now to salvage Cadmus's forces and retake their ammunition supply point.
And of course, they will add new catalysts for that.
Forces neural cores after you defeat them. This blinds their servitor and stops further reinforcements.
The artifacts, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's fun that they've added those little artifacts, but holy crap, the grind to upgrade some of them it can be a bit much, especially if you have a lot of characters like me. That means a lot of artifacts. That means requiring a lot of catalysts. It'll get exhausting, and especially if we can have 2 catalysts per characters. And if you decide to have a catalyst for, let's say, when you DPS, and catalyst for when you play as a controller, or catalyst for when you play as a healer, or it can add up pretty quick. So catalysts are starting to be a little, let's say, overwhelming. How do scammers catch you? It's pretty simple. They'll tell you, I'm going to give you $10 million for your aura. Let's say you have a blue aura that you want to sell or trade. And they'll say, I'll give you $10 million for your aura. So yeah, you start the trade in good faith with them. And then while you're trading, they suddenly cancel the trade, but they do that before they actually give you the cash. Or they accept the trade without giving you the cash. And somehow they manage to scam you a bit that way. So basically, as you trade with people, what people will do is that they'll accept, and then at the last second they'll take off their whatever they're supposed to give you. So they end up getting the item you want to give them, and they end up not giving you anything. We see that quite a lot. There's quite a few posts about that on the forums. So sadly, it's not a rare thing, and it's not a once-in-a-while thing. It's something that seems to happen fairly often enough. And sadly, when that happens, there's nothing really you can do.
I gotta transport these munitions out of here. Defend me while I get this teleporter working.
Like, you can try to write a ticket or something, but from what I understand, usually it's you've traded with the guy and I don't think there's nothing really that gets done, even if you complain about that. Although it could be that something gets done, but they just don't talk about it. That happens. Well, someone, if you ask, sometimes people will give you stuff if you ask them. Well, the weapon switch button is the armory. If you want to switch a weapon in battle, the armory is pretty much the way to go. Of course, you cannot switch back and forth at will. You're limited to how many times you can switch. Like once you switch, it takes a while before you can switch again. But technically, the armories are the switch weapons. If you want to switch weapons, the armory are the stuff you need to use. I understand what you mean. Like I've played Diablo 2 for quite some time, and in Diablo 2 it was pretty simple. We pressed the W key, and we could switch weapons anytime we wanted. I had a ranged weapon, a super bow that I would use for range. I had a mace that I would use in melee, so I would switch from range to melee as needed. But that's not how it works with DC. With DC Universe Online, you have to. Eons ago, there was no armories. You had to literally go into your inventory and manually switch weapon if you wanted to do that. Later on, they've added armories to the game, so now we can just use an armory to switch easily. I think so. Yeah, I've never. Last time I bought an episode, it was like the Green Lantern episode, like 6.5 years ago. So it's been a while since I purchased an episode. So I have to admit, I'm not really up to date on the actual price of the episodes. If you want to buy 20 time capsules, it says you wish. If you really need what's in them, sure, I suppose. But then again, the thing is, let's say you want to open Gotham time capsules because you want to have the Batman Rebirth emblem. Well, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the emblem, especially with 20 time capsules. Heck, even with 100 time capsules, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the emblem. So there's if you generally want some items from the time capsules, then yeah, sure, buy 20 time capsules. Like if you just want a bunch of emblems that are in the time capsules and you don't need one specific emblem, then yeah, okay, open time capsules. The same with the auras and all that stuff. Like if you don't want one thing specific, then sure, open a bunch of time capsules, and odds are you'll get a few things that you want from those time capsules. But if you're looking for a specific aura or a specific emblem, then it's going to be tricky. The odds are you could open 100 time capsules and not get the specific item that you want. So if you're really looking for something specific, then no, don't just open 20 time capsules. If you're not looking for one thing specific, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you want in the time capsules, then yeah, okay, open 20 of them, and odds are in at least a few of them you'll get some items that you want. For blue animated auras, there's not that many. and most of those are come from either time capsules or from what used to be booster bundles. The next DLC will be the Deluge DLC. Like right now, the latest DLC is the Earth 3 DLC. So if you want to play the current storyline, you have to play the Earth 3 DLC. But the next one will be the Deluge DLC, which will be out in March, if I'm not mistaken. Then they didn't say which date in March, so it could be March 1st, it could be March 15th, it could be March 30th. The truth is, we don't know just yet. Let's go for the mark of victory.
Has failed to gain the green kryptonite. We will store it.
Ooh, I did the most healing. Oh, I'm so surprised.
Where it can be properly guarded. The Justice League thanks you.
Should probably make a video about the new scoreboard.
Martian Manhunter out.
So let's give everyone a little bow. But next, the next storyline will be the Deluge storyline. Half of it will be the Star Wars event that we had last year, and the other half will be some new material that will be added for the DLC. So let's see if we can do another mission. I could have sworn I did this one. I probably did it with another character. I missed some of the comments. Sorry about that. Someone asked if I watch The Flash. Absolutely, Nicholas. I do watch The Flash, although I'm starting to lose patience with this season. This season, they've pretty much. It gives me sometimes the impression that they don't know what to do with The Flash anymore, because they had like an episode about Iris, and then they had one episode about Cisco, and they had one or two episodes about Caitlin, and they had a bunch of episodes about Ralph. It's as if Flash became almost a supporting character within his own series. It makes me think that, sadly, usually when that happens in either a TV show or even a comic series, odds are they don't know what to do anymore with the main character, so they focus on the other character to try to get new ideas or new stories, I suppose. So they've been doing that quite a lot, and the thing that kills me is whenever they've been also having this, they've been turning the Flash into a comedy this season. Whenever we see Ralph appear on screen, and they have that little bumbling music that starts with Ralph, it drives me nuts. Like last time, the very start of the episode, we have Ralph who goes into his office, and there's his bumbling friend waiting for him, and it literally was a bumbling show. I was like, really? Come on. So I'm really starting to lose patience with that. So if they keep on doing that, if they keep on trying to turn Flash into a comedy, and if they keep on focusing on Ralph, I'm going to have to stop watching the show at some point, because I'm really getting tired of that. Let's see for some blue animated auras. For blue animated auras, there isn't that many options, at least not that I know of. But I do have a few. I guess you blue, when you say blue, you mean blue, so purple probably wouldn't do the trick. There's the blue aura, but it's not animated. The dark flame looks like that. not bad, but I'm not sure. It doesn't really scream Quantum in my book. This one drives me nuts. There's a blue plasmic aura. Sadly, the blue plasmic aura comes from... I don't have it. This is like the purple plasmic aura. I have the blue plasmic aura on my dark multiverse character, but the blue plasmic aura comes from the booster bundles. And if you don't see the blue plasmic aura on the broker, then it's not available. There's the Seafoam aura that could work, I suppose, but you had to get it during last summer during the countdown to water powers. So if you don't have it already, odds are you can't really have it. There's the Time Torn aura. That one could work, I suppose. Or the Starotech aura, although that one comes from the pretty sure it comes from the Starro event. So you may have to wait for the next DLC before you can actually get it. Yeah, they killed Martin Stein in Legends of Tomorrow. They did that during the Crisis on Earth X crossover, which was a pretty cool crossover. Despite all the flaws that the CW shows had this year, and despite all the let's say political propaganda that they've had in the shows, the Crisis on Earth X was pretty cool. If they could have made Crisis on Earth X by focusing on the superhero aspect as opposed to try to focus on some sort of propaganda, it would have been 10 times more awesome. But you take what you can. So they still had some cool elements, but yeah, they had to do a bit of political propaganda, which I'm never too happy about when they squeeze that into our TV shows or our comics. And sadly, that seems to be what everyone wants to do right now. But yeah, they did kill Martin Stein, sadly. There's a few reasons behind that. The main reason apparently is because the actor Vincent Garber, I think he's called, he wanted to go back on Broadway. He wanted to go back to play in a famous play or something. So since he wasn't going to be available, they decided to kill off his character. And also, what it also ended up doing is that it means that they won't have Firestorm every episode. Firestorm was a pretty expensive character for them to have. Is there a chance in the next event you can buy a blue type aura? I have no idea. We're gonna have to wait and see what actually happens. Solo game like Batman, but where you can actually create your character. I don't think they would create such a game. Sadly, they seems to want people, especially in solo games, to be playing pre-made characters. It makes it easier for them to design the game and to balance the game. So if everyone has the one character, they create just one model for everyone. And also, what they also end up doing is that they end up they have to test the game with only one character in mind. So if they make a game where you can actually create and customize your character, that would mean creating multiple different character models. And depending on how if they allow you to even have create with different powers, different abilities, then that would mean making the job a little harder for them to test out the game. So I don't, and also with single player game, eons ago you could create and customize your characters a bit more. Like I remember there was this awesome game called Dragon Age Origin, where you could customize the race of your character, the class of your character, the abilities that your character would use. Sadly, when the time came to do Dragon Age 2, they decided to pretty much give a custom-made character to everyone. The only thing you could really change was the class of the character. So more and more, they seems to be to want to go into a direction where you have to use pre-made character in order to give themselves less work. Celestial power does fine, but then again, I say that with all the powers, so to me, all the powers do fine. It depends on how you actually use them. Obviously, there are some powers that are more effective than others. There are some powers that will allow you to play a bit easier than others. I have a flash character, but I don't think I'm using end blasters. Although I could have a end blaster armory. I probably did use my flash at some point with end blasters, but at some point I was using end blasters a little too much, or with a little too many characters. Like end blaster was pretty much my default weapon. When I would create a character, I would pretty much use end blasters by default. And since then, I've tried to have a bit more variety with my weapons. So I'm trying not to recreate all my characters with end blasters. But yeah, I probably did use end blasters at some point. And it works well enough. End blasters is, I'd say it's a multi-purpose weapon. You can attack pretty much well from range. You can use it pretty well in melee.
Intruders, students of death, protect the sacred temple. First line of
For the Batman solo movie, sadly they were planning to make a Batman solo movie with Ben Affleck, and sadly it didn't work out. They had to do what they call a page one rewrite. Basically, they scrapped whatever script they had, and they started with a new director, new actor, new everything. Last rumors we heard, it was supposed to be like Jake Gyllenhaal or something. It was supposed to be like the new Batman in that film. But it's been a bit. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride for the Batman movie, so we don't really know what's going on. And also, the whole Warner Brothers itself is in a bit of a transition. They've changed their their CEO stepped aside, and someone else is going to fill in his role. Yeah, the hand blasters with lightning do look pretty good. The hand blasters look pretty good with most powers. Like you can see here, you have some nice blue hand blasters effect with quantum. But obviously, if you use something, if you use like electric powers, the hand blasters, like the yellow, sometimes orangey effect of the hand blasters, do look really nice. They don't follow the event of Justice League. It's going to be Batman from like 20 years ago or something. They're going to go with a younger Batman. And the rumor was it that they were going to do like almost a Batman Year One type of story. So they're going to go back in time. There were some rumors that you would have like Ben Affleck playing the old Batman, who's like retelling a tale from when he was younger or something. But I don't think that's going to be the case. But basically, they're going to go back with a younger Batman and a much different Batman. So either it's going to be the current DCEU storyline, but set in the past, like some sort of flashback, or they're going to reboot the whole thing, or they're just going to go back to a younger Batman and just forget that the whole Justice League thing ever happened. There's rumors that they're going to use Flashpoint to pretty much reboot the DC universe, the DC movie universes. But the truth is, we don't really know. At this point, it's all speculations.
I am impressed. Few who confront the League of Assassins survive. Just beyond here, my father begins his right to drown the earth in death. I cannot oppose him openly. Act as my blade and stop his madness.
Where they leave the Justice League movie? I don't think people were blaming the actors. Pretty much most people agree that Ben Affleck did a good job as Batman. Gal Gadot was perfect casting for Wonder Woman. She's not a great actress, but the exotic quality she has makes her a pretty good Wonder Woman, despite her being not that good of an actress. So I don't think people were blaming the actors. I'm pretty sure most people were pretty much agreed that the producers were the problem.
You defeated the others, but I shall never fall.
Well, rumors are that Joaquin Phoenix will be the next Joker. Will he be great? We don't know. From what we understand, like there's the Joker movie that what's his name, Martin Scorsese is working on, and apparently, from what we can understand, the lead, the person in the lead of playing the Joker seems to be Joaquin Phoenix. I hope we didn't glitch Ra's al Ghul. Ah, crap. So if you're wondering what happened, we killed Ra's al Ghul way too quickly. If you take him down too quickly, sadly, it doesn't. As you can see, we can no longer target him, and it doesn't allow him to transition into his second form. Like basically, Ra's al Ghul transitioned to like the beastly Ra's al Ghul without his shirt and all that, and then we can finish him off. Sadly, we took him down too quick. I should have. Well, we know there's some Superman content coming up, but you mean specifically Lobo and Superman? I don't think so. I'd be surprised if we actually get some Lobo content. Could happen that we see Lobo someday as some NPC or something, but I'd be really surprised. But to have content specifically with Lobo and Superman, I'm not sure. Well, the last news we heard about the Batman film was that they were trying to have like Batman in Arkham Asylum, where he would end up fighting all of his villains, almost like a video game. I guess they were trying to almost redo the first Arkham game. So we would have Batman, let's say, on the first level, he fight a bunch of his villains, and then he go to the next level and next level until he reaches the end boss at the end of the Arkham Asylum or something. But that pretty much fell through from what I understand. It seemed to be like that. That seemed to be what they had in mind when Ben Affleck and Jeff Jones were supposed to write the Batman movie. And then since then we know that they pretty much scrapped the whole idea and started from scratch. So we're gonna have to wait and see what they actually end up coming with. But from what we understand, we cannot really expect like a younger Batman. Is it going to be? Is it going to be like like some sort of flashback from Batman from like maybe 10 years ago or something? We don't really know. And also we don't know if maybe it's going to be just a Batman movie that has nothing to do with the current DC extended universe, like the DC movie universe. At this point, we have so little information that it's hard to tell. Let's see what else we could do. Oh, I didn't do this yet. But again, to get back to the next Joker, from what we understand, they're trying to cast. From what we understand, there's going to be more than one Joker. There's going to be, supposedly they're still going on with Jared Leto as the Joker in various films. Like they're talking about a Harley Quinn film where we would see the Joker. They're talking about Suicide Squad 2 where we would still see the Joker. So supposedly there's going to be like a Jared Leto is still going to be the Joker, but they're looking for a Joker for somehow they have Martin Scorsese who's going to make a Joker solo film. So they're looking for a Joker for his film. So somehow we're going to have at least two Jokers in the cinematic in the various DC movies. Hello, Talia al Ghul. We just saw your father not long ago. Let's give a little bow to our friend. And the League of Assassin mission. Sadly, he glitched at the end, so we couldn't finish the mission. Let's try again if we... Maybe we'll be lucky this time. And let's go to Metropolis. And tonight, if I understand, we should have a new episode of Legends of Tomorrow. I thought the shows were going to take a break for the Olympics, but somehow it seems we're going to have an episode of Legends of Tomorrow tonight, which surprised me a bit. But let's go to Union Station. And tonight, even better than Legends of Tomorrow, in Legends of Tomorrow, we're going to see Constantine. I don't know if you guys were a fan of the Constantine TV show. Personally, I thought the show was 10 kinds of awful, but I loved the guy who played Constantine. So even though the show was bad, but it wasn't his fault. The show was bad because the stories, the stories were pretty bad, and also I guess the producers couldn't make up their minds about really what they wanted to do. They changed after the pilot. They changed a whole bunch of stuff. Not sure why. Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow is going to be in the Supergirl time slot until March for some reason. I'm not sure why they're doing that. Ah, crap.
Run for your life. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Not sure why they have to make to have Legends of Tomorrow take the Supergirl time slot as opposed to another night. Like they could easily have like let's say Supergirl on Monday, Flash on Tuesday, Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow, let's say on Wednesday, Arrow on Thursday, and Black Lightning on Friday. Like there's no way they couldn't have a TV show every day of the week, but somehow they don't seem to want to do that. Not sure why. The Batman Begins trilogy needed a lot of things, but I think halfway through the production, Christopher Nolan pretty much lost interest in Batman, or maybe he never had any interest in Batman to begin with, but by then he really didn't have any interest.
Trigon's power is returning. Someone is tampering with the spell that is holding him there. You must keep going. Find Trigon's chamber. I will meet you there.
Make way for an Amazon.
Sin permeates this plane, restoring power to me. Soon I will be free, and you will obey Trigon the Terrible.
We have someone who will skip all the mobs.
Trigon's power is more potent the closer you get to his chambers. Hurry, he may soon have the power to escape. I do not seek to hurt you. Get to where Trigon is imprisoned. I will hold these demons off as long as I can.
Your persistence does nothing.
Hello, Tiny Rick.
Prolong your demise. I call upon you, my children. Which of you will heed me and be my vessel? Prove your worth once and for all.
Father, I will be your vessel. These fools will pay.
Damn, Jared. Chillax.
I'm doing okay.
The world shall be mine.
Well, the last Avenger film will be in like, what, 2 years? Right now we don't really know what their plans are for the future. There seems to be a lot of talk that maybe the next Avenger, not the next Avenger film, but the second part of the Avenger film could be like the final part of the Marvel Universe as we know it. And they could decide to go in another direction afterwards. I'm not sure how much of that is true. The Batman mask? Depend which one you want. If you want the official Dark Knight mask, you have to pretty much buy it from the marketplace. There's no other way to get the mask. But there are a few alternatives. I made a video about the various Batman masks that we can have in game. Not sure if that video is up to date, but it should be able to give you at least some ideas. Sure, Jeffrey.
Septus, abstractus, solutus.
Were you going to run raids?
Stop right there.
It depends when they decide to pop. I did cure for a couple of them. The problem with raids is that it requires 8 players. If you cure for the raids and no one is playing those raids, there's nothing much you can do. Usually I try to make video about things that I can control, like solo missions, at worst 2-player missions. 4-player missions, it depends which mission pop. Like earlier we did the League of Assassins, now we're doing this one. For 8 players, again, I did cure for a couple of them. They didn't pop just yet. I'm going to run raids when they finally pop in game. To run a raid, you need a group. Sadly,
Charge the victory stone enough to start a war. Have fun dealing with Trigon!
Quickly, You've got to raise the barrier back.
Well, they're still releasing some content for Injustice 2, so I don't think they're quite ready for Injustice 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they add maybe a couple more DLCs to Injustice 2. But if there's anything about Injustice 3, I haven't heard about it.
Continues to impress. You fought a great battle and prevented the suffering of millions of innocent people in our own realm. Don't worry too much about Circe. She won't keep her plans secret for long.
It would be nice if they. It would be nice if they do it. Period. If they do it all, even better. Alternative flash calls and emblems. The only real alternative for a flash call would be the black flash call or the speed metal call. I'll try to show you at least one of them in a bit. Like for the one who was asking for the raids, basically I tried to run some raids, but like you can see I'm cleared for some 8-player missions. But if the missions don't pop, nothing I can do about that. As for some alternatives, flash calls, let me show you an example or two in just a second. For the death of Superman, I don't expect a full DLC about that. I would really be surprised about that. For the death of Superman, I expect something not unlike what we get in the seasonals. Maybe an open world mission or two. Maybe a 4-player mission or two, or maybe an 8-player mission or two, like they did with the anniversary event. But I wouldn't expect that much more than that. So I don't think they're going to give us like 3 dozen missions for each part of the death of Superman. Odds are we'll have maybe one mission that we have to cure for, and maybe a mission in the open world, and maybe something else I can't think of. As for alternate flash calls, the only 2 real options I can think of right now, other than the actual flash call itself, is the black flash call. We'll get there someday. Come on, come on. Oh, there it is. So there's the black flash call that could work for a flash call. It's not really it, but it's an option. But the speed metal one could be maybe a better option. Let's see. It's not really a flash call, but it's close enough. Of course, there's the Speed Force Spectrum, but it looks nothing like Flash. So when it comes to Flash Call, or there's the what's it called? The original Speedster. Again, not really a call, but if you have a Flash type character, this helmet is pretty awesome. Well, there are people who want some Wonder Woman content, but I understand what you mean.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
For the Wasteland, they haven't done anything in quite some time. No, come on. I'm not sure why. There we go. For the Wasteland, they haven't done anything in quite a while, but I'm not sure exactly what they could do with the Wasteland. The way they've created the map, I'm not sure they could really do all that much about it. Oh. That's what happens when you try to read the chat and race at the same time. Let me finish the race and I'll try to answer some of your questions, guys. Ah, come on. Not sure why we have a bit of lag sometimes. I'm not sure they forgot about the illegals. They just it was obvious that obviously that it was obvious when they started the legal that they wouldn't give us that much stuff about it. There's no real way for them to monetize their illegals, so I'm a bit surprised that they gave us. Oh, not really what I wanted to do. Let's go to the HQ. For customizing their bases, there's not that many players who actually like to decorate their bases. I tried to create a thread in the forums some time ago, trying to get people to show off their bases, and no one participated. The amount of players who want to decorate their bases sadly seems to be pretty low. I'm not sure about a lot of people. It seems to be often the same people. As for Central City, they are doing a bit of changes to Central City. I don't know if you guys have been to Central City lately. Like you guys will notice, they've opened Central City a bit more. We can go all the way to the edge here. Obviously, that's for the upcoming Deluge DLC. Like you see, they're adding the new what will be the new spawn point here, I suppose. So instead of last year, we had an alternate version of Central City where we had the Starro episode. It would seem that this year, what they're going to do is that they're going to add the Starro episode in the very same Central City where we had the very same Central City we had to begin with. So they've opened the map a bit, and you can see here I cannot go into the evil villain spawn point. So we can already see what they're planning to do for the Deluge DLC, what they're already prepping for that. They've opened previously there was like an invisible wall, I don't know, somewhere around here. They've opened the map all the way up to here. So I suspect here we're going to have something that has to do with the Deluge DLC, which will be most likely the Starro event. Although the Starro event was all over the map, so I'm not sure if they're going to. My guess is that they're going to rearrange Central City a bit. Like here we have pretty much the same missions that we have all the way over there. So maybe they're going to remove some of those to make room for the some of the new Starro Deluge content. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. To the north, they don't seem to have extended this is about as far as it goes, so they didn't really extend that part here. It's been a while since I did that. Let's give it a try. Well, DCUO did try to appease the Call of Duty crowd. Basically, the DCUO didn't want to have only MMO players. They were trying to attract the Call of Duty kind of players. been a long time since I fought one of those big Reapers. If you're not a high level, I wouldn't recommend you try this solo. I'm not sure what at what level you can start to solo the darn thing. I guess it depends on what power you play. If you play a tank, you can probably start doing this solo at level 70 or combat rating 70. But if you're not a tank, you may want to wait a bit. Oh yeah. Players say a lot of things, sadly.
Ah, just as I surmised. These creatures contain massive amounts of... Well, I'm sure you...
That's a nice blue flash. They seem to be, at the very least, extended Central City so that they can add at least part of the Deluge DLC here. You may remember last year when we had the Starway event, we had a whole bunch of missions over here. And also we had the evil Starro the Conqueror right here. From what I understand, we won't have Starro in the open world like we had previously, so they're going to put Starro into an actual instance. Yeah, I agree with you, Jeffrey. I understand that there's a lot of players that come from the Call of Duty games, but not all players are actually Call of Duty players, so that's a case-by-case scenario, I suppose. So let's go back to our base for a minute. And I got a nice poster for my little home theater. I guess now I need a popcorn machine or something else. Sadly, we don't have... I wish there was something playing on the screen. Not unlike what we have on the TVs. Decisions. Should I buy this? So as you can see, sadly, all the collections that I still have to purchase are somewhat expensive. So it'll take me a while before I can finish at least some of those. I don't have that many left to purchase, but as you can see, there's still quite a few. Sadly, in order to be able to purchase them, I'm gonna have to play the broker a bit more, or farm for collections a bit more. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, they've extended Central City a bit. You can see that they're prepping the area so that they can add more stuff to it. Well, actually, you can play solo. You can play DC Universe Online solo quite a bit. You can pretty much play DC Universe Online solo all the way up to endgame. Obviously, it's a bit longer because if you want to purchase some of the gear that you need, sometimes to be able to level up, Playing solo, you earn marks of victory much slower than if you play if you play group content. So, but it can be done. I've done that for quite a long time. I was pretty much playing solo. Like early on when I started playing DC Universe Online, I would play more, pretty much half and half. I would play half solo, half with groups. Then once I started my first league with friends, then we were playing pretty much 90% of the time we were playing together. They've extended Central City a bit. So then after that, after my first league pretty much disappeared, I went back to playing solo, and it was because and playing with random players was pretty much a nightmare back then. So I went back to playing solo for quite a while. Then I got a new group of friends, so we started our new villain league. That lasted for about a year, and then sadly, game update 43, 46, I forget, pretty much destroyed our league. I'll show you guys. No, we still have the same. It was 3. It never was 3. It's you can have up to 6 amenities, but it's still 6 amenities. There's no increase, and also the teleporter counts as one amenity. So for those of you who were asking, this is what they've done to Central City. Like you can see, they've added what I suspect will be a spawn point for the new DLC Deluge. And they've extended the map all the way up to the edge of the water. Yeah, sorry about that. All the way up to the edge of the water. So if you remember last year during the Stalwart the Conqueror, we had missions on this side of the map, which we didn't have before. Basically, we had a new version of Central City for the Stalwart the Conqueror, and the Stalwart map came all the way up to here. So we're going to have that also. This here, I suspect, will be the spawn point for the evil villains. And also, we already know that last year, this is where Stalwart would spawn once in a while. That's not going to be the case this year. This year, from what we understand, there's going to be Stalwart will be inside an instance, so you're not going to be fighting Stalwart in the open world like last year. So here you can see they've extended the map just a little bit. Will they extend it some more? Will they rearrange it a bit so that because basically there's a lot of redundancy within this map. Like this part here is the very same mission that you have on the other side of the museum. So it's the very same mission than what you have here. So will they decide to change at least some of that so that we don't have as much redundancy? No idea. We're gonna have to wait and see what they actually end up doing. But odds are we can tell that they're going to rearrange the map so that they can fit both the current Central City missions and the missions for the Deluge DLC, which will bring back a whole bunch of people to this map because sadly this map is pretty much deserted most of the time. Oh, we'll regret that, it seems.
Get off my stage! This is not the final curtain.
Poor abracadabra. And let's see what's in the box. Oh, I guess we're overdue for some house cleaning. I have no idea. I purchased my subscription for the year. I do that using a credit card. But for DLCs, I have no idea if you can purchase DLCs. Eons ago, what I would do when I started playing DC Universe Online, I would use Sony cards, like PlayStation cards or something like that. But it's been many years since I actually did that. Yeah, people have been asking to have a base in Central City. Sadly, it's not really an option. I can see why. Like, what if you're a legendary player, then you no longer then you put your base in Central City, and then you become a premium and no longer have access to Central City. I can see a whole bunch of headache coming from that. Yeah, it would be nice to have a Coast City, Atlantis, Thanagar. Absolutely. I'm not sure if they can have Dakota City. Isn't that the cities from the Milestone universe? And somehow there's some legalities, like the Milestone universe seems to be its own thing. It's not really part of the DC universe, I think. Like I think the rights were to some creators like Joe Duffy or some people like Dwayne Duffy. It's been a while. So I think there was like it's like why also we didn't have like a Black Lightning on TV for like many years. Apparently, a lot of people were wondering why it took so long to get a Black Lightning series. But one of the reasons behind that is that because the creator didn't want it. Like the creator who owned the rights to Black Lightning didn't want to approve a Black Lightning TV show until recently. So there's a whole bunch of issues that can happen with that kind of stuff, which sadly, let's take a quick look.
Hello, combat.
Speaking of Dakota City.
For sections of state-of-the-art combat equipment.
Let's go for the shoulders. It's connected to DC, but for a long time some of the rights didn't belong to DC. It belonged to the actual comic creators. So usually when that kind of stuff happens, it makes things a bit complicated. Like you may remember, eons ago, Marvel bought a universe called the Ultra Universe or something like that, the Ultraverse. And then they ended up not being able to do anything with it, because the way the Ultraverse had been created, whoever created the characters still owned part of the copyrights of those characters. Like whoever created Prime still had part of the copyrights for Prime. The people who had created, let's say, Ultra Force had part of the copyrights for that. Yeah, we do have Static in game, but Static was part of the Young Justice TV show, I think. So that might be why we have Static in the game.
Marta, they're here. We can get started. Agents of Apocalypse are gathering Third World artifacts for Darkseid. We don't know why, but we do know that we need to get them first and store them safely on New Genesis.
But so to this day, Marvel isn't using the Ultraverse because each character is linked to their creator somehow, and it became a nightmare for them to try to do anything with those characters. So they just pretty much stopped using the characters. Like they bought the characters, they used them for like 6 months. And 6 months later, they weren't using those characters anymore.
Marta still hasn't returned. She should be able to handle.
Oh, I know this place.
Motherfucker, we've got company.
I don't think so. There's only even in the DC universe now, Bloodhaven is pretty much gone. I'm not sure if it's even if it existed and it's gone, or if it never existed in the New 52. But if they've pretty much erased Bloodhaven one way or another, so I'm not sure if we'll see Bloodhaven again. So if seeing how the comics pretty much gave up on the whole Bloodhaven thing, I'm not sure if we'll see that in DC Universe Online. Yes, sometimes DC Universe Online will go for some classic storylines or some classic characters or things like that. But they do have a tendency to try to go for more modern or more up-to-date versions of DC. Gorilla City would be awesome. And that's the kind of things we never thought we would see, and we ended up having Gorilla City in the Flash TV show. So that alone was awesome.
Those dregs were from the necropolis. That's not possible. The remnants of shattered Urgrund eventually formed two new worlds. Savage apocalypse. Homes to new life.
Oh, did Legends start? I was planning to stop before Legends of Tomorrow started, but I guess not. So if you guys want to leave to watch Legends of Tomorrow, it's okay. I understand. I should have left myself as well. But for Gorilla City, it would be awesome. And the Bayou, the only thing I can think of is the Hall of Doom at some point was located in a bayou, that or Belle Reve. So yeah, I guess they could try to do something with those locations.
If you find an ancient weapon you do not wish to carry, you may leave it here. How may we aid you?
Take down these parademons so we can help her. For New Genesis.
Eric, you're making me jealous. Don't spoil us anything. And tonight is the episode with John Constantine. I wasn't a big fan of the Constantine TV show. The one thing I really enjoyed though about the show was the main actor. Although the actor playing Manu the Angel, he was pretty good too. I remember it was Link and the Matrix. But the writing on the TV show was 10 kinds of awful. The writing and the stories were pretty bad, and they tried to create some suspense that they would reveal I don't know, much later in the season, and they waited way too much. Yeah, Lucifer is a DC show. It's pretty much based by the Lucifer character from the Sandman comics, created by Neil Gaiman.
I took down several of them before they got away. He's after the artifacts here.
Sent the dregs to slow you down so he could.
Yeah, they'll get around to finishing some of those storylines. Like you can see, remember the Riddler storylines? It's something that had started all the way back when the game was first launched, as far as I recall. And it took like on last September for them to, I will say continue. I was about to say finish the storyline, but I'm not even sure if they actually finished the storyline. So I would say it took them that long to even just continue the storyline. So who knows? Oh, I'm dying to see the next episode, especially because it's going to have John Constantine. And even though the John Constantine show was really poorly written, the main character, the main guy playing the character was pretty awesome.
I'll get this artifact to a safe place.
I'll go with the too late. Personally, I love Quantum. It's probably one of my favorite powers. But I'm sure it depends on what you think by good. Like from what I understand, Atomic is pretty much a bit more powerful in terms of DPS, and the same would be true with. With ice, I suppose. I watched the first 3 episodes, and it's really not for me. What I started doing instead, I stopped watching after 3 episodes. What I did is that I watched the highlights on YouTube. There's various channels that will show a bit of the latest Black Lightning episodes. So I think that's what I'm going to do instead. There's a few things that are killing me with the Black Lightning show. The first is the music. I really don't like the music. And the whole family drama. The family drama drives me nuts. I can't. Already I had a hard time with the family drama with and Flash for the first season or 2. Joe that was always worried sick about Iris or something, that was driving me nuts a bit. But and for Black Lightning, it's even worse. Like the family drama is the whole point of the show. It seems like him being scared for his daughter being sort of kind of rebellious, and so that I really didn't like that show. So what I do is I watch the highlights from YouTube. Usually there's a few clips, 3-4 minute clips, that give the most important scenes of the show, and that's all I kind of watch. And it would seem also that the show will not be so much about Black Lightning than about the whole Black Lightning family. Like it will be as much about the 2 daughters who have powers than about Black Lightning himself. So obviously the show isn't for me. It's that simple. So instead of watching a show that is not for me, I prefer to watch something else. No extra Flash Emblem. Sorry. I liked some of Luke Cage. I really liked some of the characters, like Misty Knight. But overall, I wasn't a big fan of the show either. I liked Luke Cage better when he was in Elias, Jessica Jones. But overall, I'm not a big fan of the Marvel Netflix TV shows. Iron Fist was a disaster. Daredevil, the first season was okay, although one of the sad part about the Netflix TV shows is that you can tell that they're trying to make TV shows on the super cheap. So that's and it's as true with Luke Cage as any of the other TV shows. But with the Defenders, or even worse with Iron Fist, that was painfully obvious that they were trying to make the TV shows for dirt cheap. So that did kind of hurt the shows quite a bit. The best part of the Netflix TV show that I liked was the second season of Daredevil that focused on the Punisher. Yeah, Iron Fist. Yeah, that's the perfect word. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, that's sadly that describes the show in one word. And the Defenders wasn't that much better. And the only part of the Netflix TV show that I really enjoyed was like the first season of Daredevil that was focusing on the Punisher. And ironically enough, when they did the Punisher TV show, I didn't like it very much because again they tried to go back again. We got basically the Punisher origin story in the first season of the Daredevil TV show, and then they gave us the Punisher TV show, which was again the Punisher origin story. The Punisher decides not to be the Punisher anymore, and then he has to become the Punisher again, and they keep on going through his origin again. That was painful to go through. So I wasn't really happy with most of the Netflix TV show, and some of the shows usually I would try to focus on what I thought was good about the shows. Like in Daredevil season 2, the part with the Punisher was really good. In Luke Cage, I really enjoyed Misty Knight and her horse. And I enjoyed the storyline around Misty Knight even more than I did about Luke Cage, which is a bit weird, but that's pretty much how it was. So with Jessica Jones, the only thing I liked about Jessica Jones was Kilgrave. Holy crap, the Kilgrave was awesome, and he was the best part of the show by so much. It anyway. Well, having the Defenders in Infinity War, that would be fun. That would be a really nice bit. Even if it's just done as an Easter egg or something, it would be awesome. But I don't think it will happen. Sadly, there was this cleavage some time ago now between the movie side of Marvel and the TV side of Marvel. Basically, there was pretty much a cleavage at Marvel at the time, where Kevin Feige didn't want to report to Ike Perlmutter anymore. So Feige went over Perlmutter and pretty much asked to be independent of Perlmutter, and the higher ups at Disney decided to allow that. So there was pretty much a cleavage between the TV shows and the movies, and the movies seems to want to do their own thing. They don't want to have to take into account what the TV shows are doing, and more importantly, Kevin Feige doesn't seem to want to work with Ike Perlmutter. So there is a clear cleavage between Perlmutter and Feige, and between the Marvel TV shows and the Marvel movies. Even though technically it all started where it was supposed to be the same continuity, the same universe, it pretty much fell apart when there was this cleavage, and you could see that Marvel Studios is trying very hard to distance themselves from Marvel TV. To the point where it used to be labeled only Marvel, like whether it was a Marvel TV show or a Marvel movie, you would have the Marvel logo in front of it. But now, in front of the movies, you have the Marvel Studios logo, and you have the Marvel logo for the TV shows. So there's really a clear cleavage between the studio, the studio that does the movie, and the TV studios. And sadly, because of that, I don't think something like the Defenders and Infinity War will ever happen because of that. Already, they were trying to keep it separate to begin with, even though they were saying that it had the same continuity. You could tell they were trying to keep both entities separate. And later on, we understood why. We understood that because there was really some big issues between Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter. And now there's a true cleavage between the two. Inhumans should have been a movie, but as I just said, Inhumans was a project that was head speared by Ike Perlmutter, and Kevin Feige didn't want to do it. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. At first, they did add it to the timeline like much later on, and then at some point they decided to mysteriously shelve the project indefinitely. But you could tell that it was because they were preparing to pretty much do the split between the TV studio and the movie studio. And Ike Perlmutter is now the head of Marvel, but now Kevin Feige is the head of Marvel Studio, and he doesn't have to report to Perlmutter anymore. And seeing how the Inhumans were Perlmutter's baby, there was no way that Kevin Feige was going to make a movie with that. And then Perlmutter had to push to get it to be made as a TV show, and they tried to save face by having the first, I think, 2 episodes be some sort of movie that would play in IMAX theaters, and that was a disaster. It was laughable the way they did it, and it was laughable the way it was received. The Punisher should have been awesome. The Punisher was awesome in the first season, in the first half of the second season of the Daredevil TV show. The Punisher was awesome. John Bernthal was awesome. But then when they got to actually making a Punisher season, it became anything but the Punisher. That's crazy. No, there will be no connection to Infinity War with Venom. From what we understand, they're going to loosely pretend that it's somewhat, sort of, maybe in the same universe, but it's going to be pretty much its own thing. So I don't think there'll be any connection between Venom and the Infinity War, although they could surprise us. Once in a while, they do pull a fast one, and they do manage to surprise us. So maybe they'll surprise us with Venom, and somehow Venom will be connected to Infinity War, and we just don't know about it. That could be a fun idea. I don't think they'll do it, but if they did, I wouldn't mind. Well, the problem is that the people doing the DC movies and the people doing the DC animated movies, not the same people. So trying to convince the movie people to do something like what the animation is doing, that's a challenge in itself. So I don't think that'll ever happen. Basically, the movies want to do their own thing, and we see that with even Marvel. The movies want to do their own thing. They don't have to have to do what animation did. They don't want to have to do what even the comics did. So I don't think they will reboot the Constantine movie. Right now, they seem to be pushing to maybe have Constantine part still of the Arrowverse. There's rumors that maybe next year it could be part of Legends of Tomorrow. But that's just rumors. We know this year is going to be part of 1 or 2 episodes, I forget. And there's also this animated series, quote unquote, which is just like 5 short episodes of like 5 minutes that will be on some CW streaming service or something. Oh yeah, this animation has pretty much always been better. Although lately this animation is not what it used to be. And the Marvel cartoons, there was one or two series that Marvel did that was really good. Personally, I really enjoyed Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, even though the animation was clunky and some of the design works could have been better. I thought the Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Hero did a great job because it really had the personality of the characters really well made. Like Hawkeye really was a Hawkeye. He wasn't just some guy pretending to be a Hawkeye. The personality he had was perfect for that TV show, and pretty much the same for all the characters. But Hawkeye is the one that stands up that comes to mind to me most easily. But yeah, the DC animation for quite a long time, the DC animation was much better than Marvel. Although lately with Gotham by Gaslight, with The Killing Joke, with probably something else that doesn't come to mind, with the Harley Quinn Batman Harley Quinn movie, DC animation is not what it used to be. Oh, a movie with the if they were to take what they did with the DCUO opening trailer and made a movie out of that, I would be the first there with my ticket in hand to see it. Sadly, there's this belief that no one else would. So, and that bit, from what I understand, was directed by Tim Miller, the guy who directed Deadpool, the first Deadpool film. So, if they did a film like that using that kind of animation, and if they did a film half as good as that, I would be really happy. Sadly, there's convincing producers to invest in a feature film in that style, that would be tricky. And even then, the problem with movies is that there's a whole bunch of people in charge, quote unquote. Like there's you know that saying, like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, when you're making a movie, there's like a billion cooks, and every one of them want to add their own flavor to whatever project they should. You should watch the Suicide Squad animated movie. That one was pretty good. The Suicide Squad live movie was pretty bad. Yeah, bad. Jeffrey, exactly. So yeah, boy, I would say watch the animated Suicide Squad movie. You should have fun with that. With the live action movie, you take a chance either way, but yeah, DC animation used to be much better than anything Marvel was doing. Sadly, it's not quite as true anymore. Yeah, the one with Killer Frost and the Riddler. Was there the Riddler in there? I know there was Killer Frost. There was Killer Croc. There was Deadshot, and I forget who else. So I guess, guys, that's going to be it for today. It's been a while since I watched it. Yeah, if Riddler was in it, I completely forgot. I guess I'm gonna have to watch it again. So speaking of watching, go watch Legends of Tomorrow if you're not doing that already. Personally, I'm gonna go do that, and hopefully, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you guys next time. I loved Young Justice. Tomorrow, I'll try to talk a bit more about Young Justice. Justice League Dark was fine. It wasn't a bad film, but it wasn't my favorite. See you guys tomorrow.